Woo! Welcome back, everybody. Saturdays with Chickenduck, episode 141. Joining us this week, Mike Santarelli.
How's it going, guys?
Also joining us, my cousin Harry.
Yo.
It is way too hot down here for that beanie. Is that a Post Malone hat?
It is. Yeah, the guy was at the concert. She was nuts.
We'll chat about that in a minute.
This second appearance of Harry.
It is.
Had to come back.
Michael, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How about you guys?
Not too bad. I've known Mike since we were in high school together.
Yeah, that's right.
Many moons ago. You're doing sound.
Doing sound, yeah, doing sound.
For numerous local acts and
Correct.
venues, I'm assuming. So,
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company, Mike? What's it called?
My company's called SanCo Sound and Light. I got some swag here for you guys.
got some stickers. Are they
Go
already
around.
applied to the sticker table?
No, yeah.
No, I bought 3.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I've
Couldn't
been
just
doing
trade for our stickers. Couldn't work something out.
yeah, do a trade. Been doing it for a couple of years now, and Casey was one of those guys that kind of got me into it. Looking back and trying to reflect on it, where it all came from. I used to do sound for my own band on like a hacked up little system, and people thought it sounded pretty good, so started asking me to do sound for them. My cousin's band, the Barren Wells. I was doing sound for those guys, and Casey's like, I know a sound guy for the old Honey Hole Hoedown. And he's like, yeah, come up here, we'll hire you, we'll give you like $100, $150. I'm like, I'm in. And I go up there, and then I get thrown in. It was basically the start of the band Cabinet. Remember that? And I had no idea what the hell I was doing, not one bit. And
That's how I've gotten to 38 years old.
we survived.
Yeah.
We survived.
Yeah.
That's how we got to 141 episodes.
Shit, every day of my life, I think, man, I don't know what I'm doing, but keep moving forward.
Yeah, that was the first experience, just to live miking everything, and
Really?
yeah, that was
Back at the Honey Hole Hoedown.
just pretending to know what we were doing, man.
Fake
it till you make it.
What is the Honey Hole?
So
it sounds very hippie-esque.
An old friend of mine, Joe Sherman, he had a farm in Drums, Pennsylvania, and he ran once a year. It was called the Honey Hole Hoedown because he lived on Honey Hole Road, and he would hire bands, local bands like Cabinet.
I don't want you to get too excited. I know you're having a little throat thing. You sound so subdued today. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm just making sure.
Well, you know why my throat is fucked up.
I do know.
We
why.
can get into that then.
We're just tiptoeing around it right now.
Yeah, but it was a good thing. I don't think Joe. I haven't talked to Joe in years. I don't think he lives there anymore. So the Honey Hole Hoedown is no longer. But it was a good gig for quite a few years. It's fun. I used to set up for it every year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we could just do it here.
We could.
In the basement.
Clear the basement.
No, not in the basement. Out back. So mostly Berks County and
Yeah,
Chester
mostly Berks
and
County, Chester,
Lancaster,
Bucks.
I'm assuming.
I've been doing a lot of stuff down in like King of Prussia, Exton area.
Nice.
Branching out. Yeah, but it's going. It's blowing up.
I know we have a relatively speaking, we have a huge live music scene in our area.
Right,
right. Different, smaller venues, obviously, in the bar scenes, but definitely, I would have to assume the whole Philly metro area has a pretty large, live music scene, comparatively speaking.
Oh yeah, the talent in the area is absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
You go, Berks County has its share of like really good musicians, and then as soon as you go to the next level, as soon as you get in the Philadelphia area, it's just like wow, it's a whole nother tier and world. So it's pretty eye opening.
Do you get down there a lot into like any city venue stuff?
I work so much like on my own stuff, like just subcontracted gigs or my contracted gigs for myself that basically from May to November I'm busy every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like I really don't have time. It's kind of sad because there's a lot of things I want to go do.
No, this is a side.
I mean,
it's a side job.
Yeah, it's a side.
You have
Correct.
A daytime job.
I teach during the day, but it's my side gig. But it's growing to the point right now where I pretty much I'm either going to be stuck where I'm at or it's full commitment.
Right, you got to get rid of the day job. And
I think I'm at like a gig 104.
Wow,
just did 104
for this year?
for the year. Yeah,
wow,
so that's a lot. Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But it's a good gig to have for you too as a teacher because a lot of your gigs come in the summertime, right?
Right. Yeah. During the summer, I mean, I do stuff during the week as well, so it's getting pretty big.
Just you running it, or do you have any other help?
90% of the gigs I do by myself. I do have some people I work with. I have another guy I partner with. and we work together on some of these bigger festivals, and we try to scale our equipment. So we have a lot of the same gear. So I have basically half the rig, and then he comes out, and we can combine, and we can get into some bigger stuff.
Sure.
And, now we have the lifts where we can fly speakers, and we can handle 2,000-3,000 people gigs. It's pretty ridiculous to think about what I have.
Well, I'd imagine you can keep you keep growing. I mean, you can just buy more shit, keep dumping more money into it.
I had to get a storage unit.
Yeah.
But got run out of my house. My wife had enough.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Mike, just try to get that a little closer to you.
Yeah,
He's a fucking
He's the
sound
sound guy, I know,
engineer.
but I'm the one that has to do the editing.
Let me no, I got you. Gained it up. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
but yeah. So
That's the other side of the spectrum, though. You don't do a whole lot of editing. Do you do like?
no, I mean, I'll do some recording here and there.
Yeah.
You know what though? I used to do it for bands all the time, but it's so time consuming that I can't do it. Like I'll get home from a gig, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's like going to sleep. Then I'm up at 6 o'clock and I'm on the road again to do another gig the next
somebody
day.
else's headache.
Yeah, I just don't want to do it. I mean, there's September. I think I did probably like 16 or 17 gigs, over the weekends. You consider there's like 8 or 9 days there with Fridays included. I was doing 3 gigs in a day at times, like running around, like running out gear and everything else.
Wow.
So it's getting pretty crazy.
Now, do you do the lights too, or?
I do, but it's getting to the point now where I hire my buddy to come out and help me out with that because it's overwhelming, to go out there and do it and
Yeah,
do
it's a
both
lot
if you're by
Sound
yourself.
and-
Yeah, it's like you do both, one thing suffers.
Sure.
And I don't want it to suffer, so I like to make it look good on both ends. But,
Sure.
And everything's like, I remember seeing you run around at these concerts, and I just think you're walking through the crowd like having a good time, and you're actually doing everything like
Right.
digitally now from like an iPad.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, lighting is from an iPad most of the time when I'm on my own. The sound is from an iPad, so I usually have like 2 iPads in my hand, and people think,
I
this
was
guy's
watching
crazy.
down at the Riverfest, and I'm thinking,
It's crazy.
man, look at him.
Yeah.
There goes Mike.
Yep.
He's got an iPad in each hand. What the hell could
Yeah.
he possibly be doing?
Right. Exactly.
Oh, right, lights.
Yeah, it's a fun. It's an adventure. It's it's stressful at times, but it's very rewarding. Love doing it.
Yeah, and I know you're like a perfectionist when it comes to the sound and everything too. So
Yeah, it drives me nuts sometimes. I'm like constantly trying to work.
yeah,
And,
it's very hard to talk to Mike at a gig. He's
Well, he's working.
I know.
I don't like to talk to people while I work. That's why I like to mute your text messages while I'm at work. For the same reason Mike probably doesn't like talking to you while he's at work.
Do you get to enjoy the shows at all? Or
Oh
is it
yeah,
like,
oh yeah. It's like, I mean, you know what? It's kind of like if you ever watch some of these guys, you'll have like the lighting guy or like the sound guy, and it's like, it's kind of like the Force, like Star Wars. Like you feel like a big vocal passage
Yeah, I feel
building
the
up, and
bass
like
on it.
you start to throw the reverb up or the delay, and like you're kind of in it like with the band, so you can kind of become like that 6th man, I guess
Yeah.
you could say. But yeah, I mean, you get the goosebumps and the chills like when
Yeah,
you're
right.
when you're working with the band, the same way you would do like when you're in a concert. But there's a certain like feeling of knowing that you're controlling that and that you're
Like Mickey with the
making it
wand
sound
and
good.
Fantasia. Like,
Yeah, and I'm spoiled to get to work with some good bands, so I'm not like, the bands, your first, source, your weakest link, it's always your weakest link. So
Sure.
you have your, your band, you have a good band to work with, you can make them sound incredible. And if the stage volume is low, you can make that band sound ridiculous. So,
Right.
but fortunately I get to work with a lot of good bands most of the time, so that's a plus.
Right.
So it makes my job easier. So,
Right.
so like a lot of the credit needs to go to them, but there's, you got to have an ear for it and develop and.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I
hone
went
it in.
to a concert over the summer, and I was really looking forward to seeing Sturgill Simpson down at Hershey, and his sound was terrible. Like whoever
Yeah.
it was just so loud, and like you couldn't even. It was so muffled, and it was like, man, I was like really looking forward to that, and everything else sounded perfect, and I don't know why his sound was.
Was he the
awful.
headliner? Or
No,
was
he was just like a
Yeah, it's-
mid card.
yeah. That's one of those things. Like most people, we fall into the trap. We're gonna make it louder, make it loud. Like loud doesn't sound good. A good like moderate volume where it's like you almost feel like you want a little bit more, but you just leave it where it's at because it's like so satisfying. You can hear things, but yeah, loudness is like the worst thing you can do for sound, and like just a technical aspect of it. When you're at a concert and like the vocals are too quiet, instead of like trying to blast the vocals through the roof, you should bring other stuff down because like if you keep rising levels, you're making it louder and louder, and it's going to sound worse. It's harsh on the ears. It's fatiguing. Concerts can be fatiguing, and that's why you're gonna get tired of it and worn down. But usually, what happens is I was down at the Tedeschi Truck Show at the Man over the summer. Great show, and they had Shovels and Rope open up, and they had what's the Blackberry Smoke? Yep. So they were down there, and they were incredible. But it's amazing the difference as soon as like the headliner hits. So it's almost like they don't do it, but it's almost like sabotage the first opening act, so that the last band sounds really good. And
well, how do they do that? Okay, so I'm assuming the Sound and Light guys tour with the main act.
Most large acts will have their own
large
engineers.
Acts are probably not having the same, or they most cases aren't traveling with their opening acts, are they? Or
some do, yeah. So
really?
like the Tedeschi Truck Show, they had like Shovels and Rope and Blackberry Smoke there with them for that tour.
So the Sound and Light guy is working with both the headliner and the supporting act.
Correct, and they'll usually have their own engineers that mix. And sometimes each band will have their own mixing console, and they mix on that console, and they'll matrix into the other boards. And there's usually some degradation there, like so it really kind of cuts down a little bit. But yeah, I mean it's ubiquitous now with like the whole sound thing. Like engineers usually know how to use certain boards and consoles, and they have like show files for their bands for those boards. And it's it's really a whole other world of stuff that I never knew about until I started doing this.
Right.
When I started a little analog console, 12-channel thing, and it was just like, oh, this is amazing, this is great, and that digital stuff, that's crap, I don't need any of that stuff. And as soon as I got a digital board the first time, I'm like, man, never going back.
Right.
Yeah, never going back to analog, just because it's so much more involved. You have to have EQs, you have to have your effects all separate, and everything's done digitally. It's all in that board, and it's easy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can do it from the field, right?
Correct.
On your
Yep.
iPod.
Yep. Digital networking. It's really incredible. Yep.
And you know what a lot of bands are looking for because you play music yourself too.
Correct. I think that's one of the biggest things for me is just knowing what you want it to sound like. And being on a stage and not being able to hear yourself is like one of the worst possible things there is. And just from doing that and having an idea of what you think what it should sound like, that helps me out a lot. And like a lot of my friends that do this too, they play in bands, and we all have like a similar philosophy and like a mixing style where I'm comfortable like with 3 or 4 guys I know that hey, take this gig for me, and I know it's going to get done and handled.
Mm-hmm.
But that having that music perspective, that musician perspective really helps in doing live sound for sure.
Just looking at your sticker.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool design. Actually, I want to give a shout out to Tony and Alan Jackson from T-Bone and Al Jax. Those guys came up with that for me. They do a lot of posters. They do some really sick stuff, like My Morning Jacket. They do stuff for Ween. They do some crazy stuff for huge acts that you won't even think about. And it's just some guys from Reading, like Hydra Studios, Route 222 crew. Those guys are really big into art culture and cool. The scene. So it's a really cool thing. Yeah.
Is that are they right out next to Canal Street?
They are. Funny story about that place. They kind of got shut down.
Canal Street?
Not Canal Street. The studios, the Hydra Studios. We used to be up there. Remember the room we had? And I guess there was a auto shop, chop shop downstairs, and they wanted to be legitimate. So I guess they had something. The code wasn't right, so the dude installed sprinkler systems on his own, and then called in an inspector to come in, and he's like, "This is out of code, man. I'm shutting you down."
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
the whole
there's more to it, but
down or what?
Yeah, it's all condemned now. You go past there, it's like orange signs on the board. But that was, great place.
That
man.
was a cool
cultivating
cool
art.
building.
And,
That's right across the parking lot.
Correct. Yep.
Canal Street.
Yep. Now it's I guess a wasteland.
A dilapidated building.
Yeah. It's a shame too because it was a great spot.
So with all the sound stuff that you're doing, are you still playing any music?
Yeah, I'm actually playing with the Barren Wells right now. So I've been playing with them for probably 2 or 3 years. So we just released this a little short EP for 3-song.
Very cool.
On it, and it's so I've been really enjoying that. Get to play guitar and focus on just playing instead of having to write the music, and it's fun, it's rewarding. It's fun to go play when people sing your songs, and they've been around for a while, so
it's cool.
People
know
who they are. Yeah.
How much touring? How much?
We play like maybe once a month right now, so which is good. And it's tough because with my sound schedule, it's like it's conflicting because you want to go play gigs, but playing the gigs doesn't pay where the sound does. So so it's like you want to do the sound, you want to give up the money, but you also want to play. So you're kind of pulling at strings. We're playing at Mike's Tavern. I think it's the Friday right after Christmas, and I have a gig at PJ Wheelahands that night for sound. So I got to kind of juggle both.
Oh, show
so
up
run
at
over and
yours.
play for an hour and a half, then run back over to PJ's and. Yeah,
Now, will
so-
you set up at PJ's before?
Yeah, I'll probably set up the night before, and then my buddy Nate, who works with me, he'll be doing lighting. He'll take over the sound for me until I come back. So I've got a pretty good relationship with that. So it's really good to have
double booking in the Christmas
Yeah,
spirit,
yeah,
man.
man, absolutely.
Running across town.
Yeah, yeah.
And when is that?
That's what is it? The 27th, 28th?
Be the 27th.
I think it's the 27th. Yeah, it's Friday night. Yep, December 27th. It's at Mike's Tavern.
Very cool.
Yep.
So what's new, bud?
Nanny turned 84 last night.
She did. Last week.
So-
Last week. I don't know when you're releasing these anymore, so I don't know. She turned
YouTube video.
84 on December 6th.
The YouTube videos come out at 8 o'clock on Friday night, and the audio version comes out at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Sometimes BCU's thrown in there. It's a lot to
BCU.
keep track of anymore.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
I just
when we first started the podcast, Mike was the first person I called to see what kind of equipment
I
I.
believe we actually used most
We-
of Mike's equipment. for the first
That's correct.
Numerous episodes.
Yeah, for at least 40 episodes.
Right.
I think.
Wow, man.
Long time, yeah.
Man.
Then he asked for it back, and I just went, whoa. But when we first started, he told me, you got to get the digital. And remember that first little
Yeah.
recorder that we had? And
So I was going to ask you, is this a little contraption over here what you use to sum everything together and then put it out to one line?
No.
Okay.
This is just for our mic.
Or headphone mixing. Okay.
And this is for just a phantom power for one of the mics.
Yeah, I remember sending
Needed it.
Casey links to audio gear and
Yeah.
will this work? I'm like, yeah, this will work, but this will work even better. And it's like, oh, I already ordered this one. So
I
like-
was actually just digging around looking for the other mic and found the 4-channel board that we had.
Yeah.
The old short channel board that
Yep.
we had.
I actually just bought another Zoom.
That's all that's just a digital audio.
Yeah, but it
unit.
has four plugs
Right.
for the mic. I forget which one it is.
so what you can
Really
do
nice
the
one.
plug right in, or you can do like that
Yep.
air recording.
It's got a
Nice, nice.
Yeah, it's a nice one. I got it for should I do it on the road? Like if I ever get to Texas to see Morgani.
Yeah.
You got your Jason Mewes and
Well, yeah, I was gonna sell that one. I had the little handheld Zoom with the it's just the two plugs in the back for the mics and then the one in the front. And I was gonna sell that, and I took it out when I went to see Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. And Mewes fucking started signing everything right away, and he's like, he signed it. I was like, shit, now I can't get rid of that.
So you said Morgani. I haven't seen his presence on
Jimbo.
social media
talked
lately.
about him on
No.
here for a while.
So I believe that his password or something got hacked to Facebook. So he shut his Facebook down.
Was it the Russians? you
It
think?
might. I think that he believes it might have been. But he's still on Instagram, and I think I see him on Twitter every once in a while. But yeah, he was just home for Thanksgiving, and he was like, he really wanted to get together to record with me, but I just didn't have any time, and he wasn't staying until Sunday to record with us, so it just didn't happen. But
Sounds like a lack of commitment.
he
to me.
drove. I think he drove home from Texas Wednesday, and then drove home Saturday. Like 20-some hours straight, just
Man, it's crazy.
coffee and
He
coffee and
probably
coffee.
sold his Facebook password for gas money to make that trip.
Wouldn't shock me.
So he hasn't posted himself flexing his biceps.
I think it's deactivated.
Yeah,
I went on there.
Facebook,
Yeah.
No, Instagram's there.
right.
Yeah.
So hasn't he posted a picture of him standing next to like a waitress with his chest muscles hanging out?
because I just saw him one. He called it flooding. Guitarist Jimbo, right here. Yeah, he said if anyone out there, this is November 21st. If anyone out there is like me and part of the 1 out of 3 Americans with small calves that are born decaffeinated,
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
just remember you're not alone. Maybe we should unite with some kind
What
of
is
swell.
he doing?
Swell.
What is he?
Unite.
I thought he was naked from the waist below. But they're just they're flesh colored shorts.
Man.
Maybe we should unite with some kind of swell fair program where the calf privileged people give at least 20% of their gains and veins to the much less
I should
fortunate.
have let him know that I would help him if I could.
That guy's a wordsmith, man. He's
He
pretty
is.
funny. I
And
miss
when he's talking-
some of his posts. Yeah.
When he's talking about the people that with the calves, he means you.
I know.
'Cause
That's what I mean. I wish I could help him.
He would always mention the size of Jimmy's calves whenever he would be here.
So I made sure to make sure I was in front of him and walking up the steps every time in my shorts. Yeah, I miss Jimbo sometimes, but just for a little bit here and there.
So if you notice, our studio's a little different today. I got another camera. I just haven't set it up yet. So
we completely disassembled everything and moved it around.
moved it around. It'll be different next week. Hopefully, I'll be able to get here a day or so early and fix it up because I know you're not going to do it.
No. I'm glad you know that. Saves me the hassle of telling you that I'm not going to do it. How was your trip this time around?
Oh, it's always fun.
How's school
Always
going?
it's a lot of fun outside the classroom.
Yeah,
You know, but
it's a given.
it's going through. I got finals next week.
Tell everybody where you're going to school at.
Florida State.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, it's a time for sure.
Do you have a major yet? Or
I'm
pick
track
anything?
for business right now, but I'm not sure what I want to do. I just want to make money, live comfortably.
I need you to give back, Harris.
Yeah, I know. I was told last night I need to be humble. Yeah. I need to be humble, give back, be
boy.
charitable. So we'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll just work at a homeless shelter or something like that.
Do you get to a lot of you go to all the sports?
Yeah, big time. I mean, football was rough this year, so we watched a lot from like parties or tailgates, stuff like that.
Sure.
But basketball's looking good. We're much more of a basketball school, so now it's always a good turnout.
Keep my eye on the stands for your.
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
I heard you had a little haircut last night. Also.
Yeah, Scott hooked me up. We had a hairdresser at the party last night. Hooked me up. He's. I asked him. I was like, "Do you think I need a haircut?" You know, because my hair's kind of long. He's like, I could do it right
I
now.
heard my mom didn't think too highly of him hooking you
Yeah,
up,
your
and
mom-
then your mom came.
I don't know.
out
She was bugging, dude.
she was mad, but he did a nice job. He cut
Oh
all
yeah,
like
no,
the
he did like
strap-
3 snips.
Yeah.
You know, just talking the whole time. It
Sounds
wasn't
like
$90.
a coming to America haircut.
40 people in my cousin's house, and the hairdresser decides that he wants to cut my cousin's hair.
Oh, wow, that's nice, man.
Interesting time to do it at my 80. at
free
my
cut.
80
Ready to go.
my grandmother's 84th birthday party.
Nice.
You know,
we watched that show live, PD. I got a phone call from or a text from Harry the other month. Live PD is now in Tallahassee, Florida. And he texted me and said, was I watching Live PD that night? I said, no, why? Please tell me you weren't on it. No, but my frat house was.
That was close.
And if I wasn't sick, I would have been there.
I
For
missed
what?
that. I would love to be on a part. It was like a noise complaint or some bullshit like that. I would have loved to be on the camera.
We got to get you a Chickenduck shirt in case that ever
yeah,
happens
definitely.
again.
I'll
You
rep it out.
jump on it.
you ever see a video of the guy watching Live PD as they're kicking in his door?
Oh, man.
It's great.
So, can we talk about your other career at all, Mike?
Yeah, go
You're a
ahead. Yeah,
teacher?
sure,
So, when did you start teaching?
Oh,
when
man.
did you get into that?
2003?
Wow.
Yeah, August 2003. 17. This will be 17 years, man.
Wow.
17. Yeah.
What
as
grade,
a-
mostly?
Yeah.
All sixth grade.
All sixth
Yeah,
grade,
all
that
sixth
kind of
grade.
time.
Yeah, man. Started out, my first year was
It's like Groundhog Day. Isn't
Yeah,
it like Groundhog
it's-
Day? Like every day you're doing the same sixth grade.
It's like, you see the same thing every day, same kid doing the same behavior. And I say to him, can you do something that's going to surprise me? Like, just do something different. Just listen. Like, just do what you got to do. That's it. You'll totally blow my mind if you just come in there and just, like, do what you're supposed to do. Now listen, we have a lot of great kids, so it's not as bad as it sounds. But, yeah, 17 years, my first year, I wanted to quit every day. They had me in a classroom for at-risk kids. Some of those kids were turning 16 and in sixth grade. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
normally like what, 11 or 12?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
And some of them aren't even alive anymore. Some of them, are in
What grade is
jail.
Andy in?
7th grade.
And he's 12.
A year younger than
Bro.
Oh, my God. That's
So-
But
crazy.
yeah, man. Long time ago. But I'm glad I stuck it out because it's a good job, man. It's fun. It's rewarding. And
Summer's off.
summer's off. Yeah. I mean, that's
it's tough.
you know what though? It's crazy because the older you get, it's like I almost don't care as much about that. Just it's getting to the point where now it's more important to have a job that you actually like. You really, really
Do
like
something you wanna
and
do.
you don't mind, and like less stress. So like sometimes I feel like, man, I want to just adult. I want to go do an adult job. I want to go home. I want to take work home, and I want to do work outside of work to go back to work the next day. I just want to go to my job, get paid good, and come home, and that be it. But it's like then you go into school and you do some cool stuff, and it's rewarding. But it's a stressful gig. It really is,
especially around here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially where you work. I can only imagine. Yeah. I could never do that. God bless you.
Because all the kids were like Eddie, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
most
of them are like my son.
It's tough because I'm so far into it now. It's like to change it up, man. And like give up the benefits and everything else would be really it's really tough.
Sure.
Now, 6th grade, you teach pretty much all of the curriculum.
I teach math and science.
Okay.
I taught I taught every subject basically, but taught math for a number of years, social studies, which is a lot of fun, and then back to math and science this year. We went with 2-man teams, so I now do 2 subjects.
Is there anything keeping you to 6th grade other than you're just? I mean, like, is there? If you wanted to, could you be a high school teacher?
I could teach kindergarten to 6th grade.
Okay.
And
so
I could teach.
I guess my question would be, how is it separated?
Yeah, so we have our building is 6, 7, and 8 right now. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Sorry, it was restructured. And then and then we have like kindergarten through 4th grade in the elementary school. So, but I mean, sometimes I think about it like going down to the little kids because my son, he's 4, going to be 5. My daughter's 7, and it's just like at that age, the kids are pretty cool. They're kind of scared of you yet, and they want to please you. They want to make you happy, in class. So it's like sometimes I think that would be really cool to do it. And then my wife also teaches 1st grade. She's like, I don't want to teach kindergarten. She's like, you don't want to teach kindergarten, man. Like you got to tell them how to line up, teach them how to line up, and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's just it's chaos. She said, you go nuts. But like something about the little kids that are fun. You can sing songs, like, you can do fun stuff, and they're into it.
But if they don't know the fundamentals, and you're the one that that's a whole different level of teaching. Like it's
right.
You're not just teaching like 1 + 1. You're teaching behavior,
how to stand in a line. Well, I mean, you know what though? 6th grade, I feel like I do that too.
Oh,
I mean,
you do that forever. I mean,
some of these younger kids, like they listen better than the older kids. The older kids will just do something because they want to make you angry. It's like ridiculous. Like lots of pencil tappers. They tap these pencils and do this stupid stuff on the desk.
Drumming.
Knock it off. I said,
I'd really appreciate it if you'd stop.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what I did the one time. So like I like to do things that kind of blow their minds a little bit. So so these kids are in here tapping these pencils, and it's just like on the desk, and I'm just like, I had enough. I'm done. I go over to YouTube on my computer, pull up a video of Buddy Rich drum solo, and the guys all over the place, like, you know what I mean? And like the kids just freeze. They're like, yeah, that's right. You want to play drums? Go play some drums. Go learn how to play some drums. Like that's not playing drums. That's just stupidity. It's like they were blown away. It's like you see somebody do that.
Sure.
And, it was pretty funny, man. Good time.
Do they still continue to do the drumming? Or?
Usually they'll stop when they get like I'm
faster.
I'm Buddy Rich.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, I'm pretty cool, and I think they respect me pretty well, and they listen. But some of them are just to be. For the sake of being stupid. I mean, we did stuff like that too, but we knew when to stop.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
not
most of
us.
Most of us.
We were assholes.
Well, I remember at Central, like, we were never terrible. We listened for the most part. But
talking about?
We used to go in there with
you and I were in the same group of people, and we were all bully assholes, all of us.
But I wasn't that bad.
No, you were probably one of the nicer of the group.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
So I was always the mediator and the.
I'm pretty sure I was a bully.
You graduated in 99, right? No.
98.
Oh, 98.
Yeah, 98. Jimmy can attest to this. We used to do some fun stuff at that, up on Eckerd Avenue there. And in fact, I remember when I first met Jimmy, he was like this big dude, and like, hey, we need your help, man. I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken. We used to lift people's cars up and put them on the sidewalk, and then we park another car in there, lifting the cars. Right? Yeah. So
but how many people?
That might have been my first experience with Jimmy.
Oswald's, for sure.
No, how many people would it take to lift the car?
I don't know, but they were all. It was like me and him and Mike Showers and Courtney and like dudes that were all like
big
on our way to football practice.
Yep. We go there, we get the back end, pick the back end up, put it on the curb, then we go to the front, pick the front up, put it on the sidewalk. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, I remember a couple pretty good times with you that I can't repeat.
There's not. Yeah, we can't. We should be in jail or dead by now. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Things we don't talk about.
How's your family doing? Everybody good?
Good. Yeah, really good. My brother is he moved down to towards like Exton.
Okay.
He's working at DECA.
Okay.
He's doing really well for himself, man. It's one of those. That's one of those things I always feel. About like you got to go to college, you got to do this, you got to do that. I remember in high school, I went down there and said, "Hey, I want to be a park ranger. I want to work at Yellowstone." They're like, "That's stupid. Why would you want to do that?" I want to be a cop, like Coach Seraphin. That's dumb. Idiots become cops. I'm like, you know what, man? Idiots become cops, man. I know kids went to high school with, retired at 40 years old after a full career in Reading Police Department, making $100+ a year. People that went in the fire department. You work 4 days, you're off 4 days.
Guys that turn wrenches and shit like that.
Mechanics, plumbers. My buddy's, making 2-3 times the money I make, and he works for the steam fitters, union, and he's it's killing. It's great. We're so kind of like misunderstood. But my brother, man, he's doing great. Up there, and really really happy to see that for him, and just other people you hear about, and it's like, man, and I love what I do. I'm happy where I'm at. I wouldn't want to change anything at this point, but except for winning the lottery. Like now that my life's already established, just win the lottery and just.
If you worked a decade, you wouldn't be working sound and
No, that's the other thing too, and that's another issue with like if I want to leave like district, I have a lot of perks and like teaching and. With the summers, like if I do something else, I would not be able to do this. Right. I don't know how I feel because I work so hard. I networked and connected, and that's one of the things about music. And you can attest to this, Casey. It's just like you meet so many people, and you get part of so many narratives and stories that it's like I can't even tell you how many people I know and have met just through music and sound. It's really really pretty awesome.
I go through my Facebook page sometimes. I'm like, who the hell are these people? Because. Like when I was booking the Herd,
that was a long time.
That was a lifetime ago. For me,
was.
You know what I mean?
There was a little while where you were drinking. I'm probably just friending everybody there.
I would friend like anyone that like owned the bar. I found out would do the booking at the bar or whatever that you guys were trying to play at. And they're still my friends on Facebook. I'm like, who the hell are these?
Casey,
9 years later,
Casey was booking us, and he's like, "Hey, I got this gig for you guys. We're going down to a bowling alley on St. Patty's Day." We're like, "What?" It was actually turned out to be a lot of fun. It wasn't like super crowded, but it was like a weird. Like the bar was kind of off to the side, and the crowd that was there was like really into us.
Drew Kelly,
Kelly, yeah. And we played. We did Knock on Heaven's Door with Drew that night. We did some Bob Dylan.
Yep.
Yeah. What's he up to?
I have no idea. I saw him in passing 5 years ago at Montage, and that was it. I haven't seen him since. He dropped off. I haven't seen him on Facebook anywhere.
Right.
No idea what happened to him.
Maybe he forgot who you were and unfriended you.
Who the hell is that guy?
He's right now having a podcast in his basement, having that exact conversation with somebody else.
I booked Drew a cross country tour and back. He was.
Is that Cap? Is that
no Drew Kelly? His name was
by himself?
Yeah, by himself. He was a solo musician. Is a solo. I actually don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah, man.
But he came out with a solo album and asked me if I could book him this tour, and I got him. It was gigs all the way out to like Missouri and back.
Never seen him or heard him. Missouri.
No, I think he did pretty well on that tour. I just I think he got into some trouble with drinking and stuff, and kind of fell out of the scene for a little while.
Cleaned his life up.
Yeah. Some of us do.
The Herd, man. That was a fun band. I missed that band.
Yeah. Did you see that memory I posted the other day?
I did.
From like
I saw
8
that.
or 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
One of the gigs.
Kerper, he's playing some keys with the Barren Wells now too.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah, getting him back into some music. So
very cool.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he played piano last year at our Christmas party.
I heard. Yep.
That was very cool.
It was cool. There's not going to be one of those this year, is there?
No.
That was last night, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's disappointing.
There wasn't a piano there at Carr's, or we would have had him back. But, so yeah. So my voice. Want to talk about that?
Let's talk about your choice in nacho purchasing.
Do we think it was the nachos?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Not the Applebee's burger.
Casey, you have to stop ordering Grubhub delivered with cheese nachos in towns you've never been to before at like 9 o'clock at night. You have to stop this behavior. There's nothing recording. This is an intervention. The previous 140 times we've met have been jokes. There's not really been any reason other than This
So
is,
you got to give me some backstory here.
There's people here. Come in, everybody.
So
let me give everybody, our listeners and our fellow podcasters here, a rundown. Casey works for a company and goes on the road every week. Every week, Casey doesn't really like leaving his hotel room after he's in his hotel room. And usually he's in a place that probably delivers marijuana, too. So he orders up some delivery marijuana. And
California,
at the same
that's
time,
California only.
orders nachos.
That's all you need.
At 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night, he gets a plate of nachos and proceeds to eat it, and then wonders why for 2 days you're urinating out of your rear end and loses 10 pounds in a week.
Or as Andy calls it, the double dragon.
It's pretty good, man.
Yeah. So so I was in it's spelled hurricane, West Virginia, but it's pronounced, they say in West Virginia, Hurricane, West Virginia. There's no fucking everyone that I said.
How many?
At least 6.
6 people
Yeah.
told you where you were.
So it's kind of like people in Berks County, like saying, I got the diabetes. Yeah, basically.
Where were you that said,
I was
you're in Hurricane.
I was in
Welcome to Hurricane.
I was in Bridgeport, West Virginia, and at the Home Depot, and I said that I was headed to Hurricane, West Virginia. It was my next, and the lady started laughing. You're not from around here, are you? I said, no, why?
What gave you that?
It's
You have your
called-
teeth?
All of these teeth.
It's called Hurricane. I said, oh, okay. And then
No, ma'am. Right here is the E. It's called Hurricane.
and then like that same conversation happened a few times. Like people ask where you're traveling, what are you
Tell them to
doing?
mind their own fucking business. What the hell?
That always crosses my mind. Like what I want to say
I'm
is minding
sure.
my own business.
Man.
Let me throw a little Southern hospitality your way. Why don't you mind your own fucking business?
So I went to Applebee's at 3.
Okay, yeah.
3:30,
You're
I
an
think
hour
it was.
behind.
No,
I
was it 2:30?
Then it was 2:30
All right.
because I spoke
So I was
to you
at Applebee's
while
at
you were sitting
2:30.
there ingesting your poison burger.
Jimmy called me. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Sitting in Applebee's." The first thing he said is, "Why?"
I said it's 2:30 on like a Thursday. Why are you at
I hadn't
Applebee's?
eaten yet at all, so I went to Applebee's. Was the only like reputable place in Hurricane, West Virginia.
Therein lies your problem. I think the location has more to do with the reputation of the place than the reputation does by itself. You're in Hurricane. The fact that you're in an Applebee's is out the window at that point. You could have been.
Do they have any, Cracker Barrels or anything like that down there?
I don't
bless.
know.
I would have.
I do like Cracker Barrel too. That's one of my
Get a little
stops.
meatloaf sandwich.
No,
The,
Country fried steak or chicken,
Yeah.
man.
I got
Oh,
rid of the
so
country
good.
fried chicken.
I saw that.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Country fried chicken. I'm assuming. or
It's
steak.
like fried chicken.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
what country fried chicken is, but what you say shrimp?
Steak.
Oh,
Steak's
okay.
the other one.
it's the same thing as
Yeah, it's just chicken.
steak.
Or shrimp.
Speaking of Cracker Barrel, for the first time we went there for Thanksgiving. It was beautiful, man.
Really?
I'm not a big turkey person. Deep fried, okay, I'll eat a little bit of it, but I never eat in the holidays. I'm always hungry, so I was looking for something to eat. And my wife's like, "Hey, we're gonna go to Cracker Barrel with my grandparents for Thanksgiving." You're like, "Yes, man, I'll take it.
No
No problem.
cooking.
I'm not gonna fight this." So I got to have country fried steak on
That
Thanksgiving.
is such an easy out.
It was so great, man. French fries, the cheesy potato casserole,
And then when
some
you're done, you
dumplings,
can
man.
just get up and go.
You
home.
leave. There's no dishes. There's nothing. You just leave. Right.
Take this money and
Right.
just go home.
That's nice. Yeah.
That's what we're doing next year.
27 people.
Yep.
Oh my.
So yeah, so I had food poisoning.
So the question of the day that everybody wants to know is, was it Applebee's? What do you have, a burger?
I had a whiskey burger from Applebee's, and then I had nachos from Whiskey Taco
Oh, geez.
later that night.
So which one was it?
But the
You know damn
So-
well which one it was, Mike. You don't name your taco stand Whiskey Taco and then send out normal nachos at 9 o'clock at night.
so
those shits were
the nacho place on
probably pure butter, and cheese.
It was good.
Yeah, I bet it was.
So the
Easy in, easy out.
the taco place on Grubhub gets 441 positive reviews.
I didn't say that it wasn't delicious, but I bet you there's 442 other people out there that are having
now
the same
dead.
conversation. Man, I had Applebee's that day, but those fucking nachos were delicious. I was pooping for 2 days straight.
So my problem with Applebee's, the reason I think it was Applebee's is, when did restaurants start using pink or no pink as their, like, the way you cook a burger? It has always been growing up medium well,
Yep.
rare, medium rare.
Who
well.
told you? Who asked you?
Most restaurants now, when you go to order a burger or a steak or whatever, they say pink or no pink. Not and then I said I want it.
Most restaurants or most?
Most places that I go to,
Okay.
that I travel to,
Okay.
say pink. Have you heard it, Harry? Ever?
No,
No.
I've never heard it.
I think I'd be close to getting up and walking away from somebody.
Well, so I said I want
'Cause
medium.
You're either talking to me like I'm an infant and I don't understand the difference in how meat cooks. What the? No, I've never heard that.
Yeah, a lot of places are doing
Pink
it.
or
now.
no pink?
Yeah, and I said medium, whatever medium is. So they probably went back and spit in my burger.
Give this asshole the pinkest one you can find.
Oh man.
So that's why I say it was Applebee's. I ordered nachos on the road.
Fortunately, you also had pink nachos for
They weren't pink.
when they started it.
It was ground beef.
On the nachos?
Yeah.
On the
So,
nachos
I mean, you
was
think-
ground beef also.
Yeah. So you would
That
think
was
that they'd be able
yesterday's
to.
pink burgers.
They would cook ground beef better than like one
Who
solid
would?
burger patty. Whiskey taco,
What do you think that burger patty is made out of?
ground beef.
Right.
But I'm saying when you're like cooking ground beef in a pan, it gets cooked better than if it's in a burger patty.
Only if it's cooked longer. Like, only if that person is actually cooking it.
Speaking of burger patties, it's just like if you're gonna have an Impossible Burger that trying to taste like
There's
a
no
burger.
such thing as an Impossible Burger.
Well, but what I'm saying is, why would you have an Impossible? Just eat the goddamn burger.
Exactly.
Right.
Or
it's like
take
come
a
on.
head of lettuce and chew on
gotta
that.
go for it.
You know, as old bit Nick Salsano used to say with the base, like I can prove we're supposed to eat meat right here. There you go. Look
Yeah,
at the teeth.
incisors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should be able to tear the flesh off of whatever I catch. I should be able to stalk it for a couple days, then hunt it to death, and then chew
Munch
it,
down.
eat it raw.
Yeah.
Like a man.
Absolutely.
Like a man.
So
So I think it was the nachos.
okay. I
Probably
beg to
combination. dude.
Think combination.
I'm both from
I don't
Hurricane,
think
right?
it's not a combination. Yeah, it could be
Both
something.
like
in the, it could
probably
be
the whole
water.
area is just
Can
sus.
food poisoning hit you that fast though? I ate the nachos at let's say 8:30, 9 o'clock
it
at night,
can.
and I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with projectile vomiting.
No.
So it was the burger then.
What did you have the day before?
Can't. No idea. The
You
only
remember-
reason I remember
No,
the
wait.
only
How about you remember in that much detail these two meals?
Because
but
I
you
had
can't
food
recall
poisoning.
the day that you had not 12 hours before.
because I had food poisoning. That's why I remember.
And it
it.
erased. Oh my God! I can't think of Wednesday. I've been shitting nonstop since Thursday.
No, Jim. I just don't have a good memory.
But yeah, if I asked you what strain of fucking weed you were smoking,
Rose.
on Wednesday.
No, I had some notes this week too.
Now, when
We
was
got-
this? When was this? When did this happen again?
This was on Wednesday night, and then 3 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning. I woke up with I had to go both ends.
So do you have any
Double
any
jack.
desire to eat at
The double
Applebee's or
jack.
Whiskey Taco ever again? From at this
I
point?
would risk
Sooner
the,
than Applebee's. Probably.
I would risk the nachos again. They were
worth the risk.
they were
Problem.
good.
It's a problem. That's why we're here today. Come on in.
They were really good nachos, man. So then I had a. That's why my throat is fucked up. I think because I was throwing up so much. I had
Man.
I had a 7. I was supposed to drive.
It's from crying.
Well, yeah. If I would have had any, there weren't.
Oh, where were you while this was all?
I was in my hotel room in
In
Hurricane, West Virginia.
Virginia, right?
So if there would have been like more than 6 people in this hotel, they probably would have thought I was getting murdered because after I was done like projectile vomiting, like heavy throwing up, I would be like
laying in the corner with the shower water hitting you. Like,
no, I'd be like, "Whoa," like throwing up, and then I'd be done, and then I'd be like, and that happened like 8 or 9 times.
Yeah.
And then, so I canceled
there's
my
probably
job.
A newspaper article out there somewhere about this.
Have you heard the Yeti? And
The Quality
So
Inn in Hurricane's haunted.
So I canceled my job that day because I would have had a 3.5 hour drive to my next job and then a 7-hour drive home. So I opted for
in a poopy diaper.
I opted for the 7-hour drive home from Hurricane, West Virginia, and it took
Now
me.
wait, after pooping and puking all night long, you hopped in a car and drove 7 hours.
Yeah, I had to check out of my hotel.
home.
I couldn't stay there.
Home to Reading, like
Yeah.
drove home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It on the
You
GPS.
had to check out, like that had to be the most. Like,
Yeah, the lady. How are you doing today? Well, not so good. So yeah, it was on my GPS. It said 6 hours and 56 minutes home. It took me a little over 9 hours to get home because I stopped at just about every rest stop, and then I just got a bag and I was just driving with like holding the bag.
throw it up.
Here. But I didn't have anything else to throw up
So
though.
you
It was
dry
just like
heaving?
dry heaving,
Oh God.
like spit, you know. Because
Thanks for coming, everybody.
the only thing I had
That's
to
just awful.
to drink or eat or anything on Wednesday, I had that much Coca-Cola, regular Coke, and I never drink regular Coke anymore, and that's all I had all day on Wednesday. And actually, after I
Are you
had
okay now?
yeah, I'm much better now. After I had the little bit of soda, I actually felt a lot better.
Did you have any cake last night?
I did,
Did you bring any?
and
home
then
for me?
I had another piece of cake when I got home.
Did you bring any home for me?
No, I didn't.
I would have thought you might have. Because we had to leave so early.
So I had.
Well, I'm
some-
glad you're feeling better.
Thank
glad.
you,
look
sir.
good. You look like you lost about 8 pounds.
I did actually.
I know.
So have some notes here. Last week we talked about seeing a Radio Shack. I think Zach asked if
New Holland.
you saw a Radio Shack. I saw one in West Virginia.
Really?
Yep.
Privately owned.
I didn't go in
Why?
because
Then I don't believe you. Maybe you saw a Radio Shack sign.
It was open.
I don't believe you.
Google it. Put it in your Google box.
I'll look later.
Probably up front.
Probably.
Yeah.
So Vu's not here, but one of our listeners, Allison Hemming Pollock, she emailed us the other day and said that she listened to the Justin Spaneth episode.
And remembers the.
She clearly remembers heated towel racks at his house. That was
Mike, you might have had heated towel racks.
I did not have heated towel racks.
You had a pretty nice basement, if I do recall.
Yep.
another listener. We give a shout out to Amber Blizniak. She's been listening to Chickenduck and Berks County Unsolved. And that's pretty much all my notes for the day.
Did you work on them while you were on the toilet?
No.
Well, I don't have anything. I'm glad Mike came and joined us this week.
Got anything for us, Harry?
Harry's been quiet.
Not much.
Why is
yeah,
the
I'm
neckline of
contemplating.
that shirt so low?
It's a tank top.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
pack light. Didn't bring enough shit.
What'd you bring? A backpack from Florida?
Yeah, backpack.
Light.
Yeah.
It's December.
Not in Florida,
No.
It's still icy down
Actually,
is it?
it is December in Florida. It's going to be all
there.
month.
Not weather-wise, though.
No. So when do you go back to school?
Tomorrow.
That's right. You have
I have
finals, this
next
week,
week.
and then you have off till like January,
Yeah, that'll be nice.
end of January probably.
Take
How
a
long
break. I think we go back to 6th.
of
So,
January?
yeah, so we have a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Florida State. I remember Albright. Yeah.
Get that interim.
Yeah,
get
we were-
all
we-
of January off.
Right. Yeah,
So you guys
we-
went to high school and college then together?
We went. Yes. I mean, Albright doesn't really count as college.
No.
Not
it
for
doesn't.
you,
Oh.
because you didn't finish.
Neither did you.
Because I never went.
Man, I Albright. That was a
Neither did I.
that was a place. Ended up eating more than that Jake's
Yeah.
down Jake's place downstairs. We go in there and get like cheesesteaks like late at night, and my dad's like getting bills for like $400 or $500. Like, what the hell's this?
The
Man?
greatest-
It's like, dude, let's go down and eat there. Like, we eat the cafeteria. We pay for your meal plan. I'm like, well, we eat there too. We'll go down here.
The
and
greatest
eat there.
Greatest thing ever was I'd go. You could go to the library and take CDs, DVDs, and stuff out. While they had, I got Dark Side of the Moon on CD, and I got the movie where they eyeballs in the milk, Clockwork Orange.
Oh yeah, yep.
On VHS.
Wow.
Jesus.
Just it's 2000.
Yeah.
2001. And I never gave them back. I lost one of them while I was pledging my fraternity. And the bill got to my parents, and it was like, I think it was $60 for the CD and like $120 for the movie.
My goodness. For something that you can replace.
Sorry. $180 for two $5 items that are free now at a yard sale.
And it was the Pizza Italia $5 pie night.
We
man.
still do that. Oh yeah, what Wednesday?
Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was. It used to be $5 pies, man. You get $5
still
large
have
pizza.
it. I think it's
It's like $9
$5.90
now.
No,
Is it?
no, it's still.
It's a medium pizza. It's not a large.
No, it's not a large anymore.
Yeah, it used to be a large pizza for $5, man.
Oh shit.
We used to get together. We sit in there and watch wrestling, like Monday Night Raw, and just get out of control watching that stuff. With some pizza.
Are you interested in doing that now? I started watching wrestling again.
You know what? I haven't watched. Speaking of wrestling, I saw the belt over there on the chair.
Yeah, we got to give a shout out. Sorry, real quick. Kyle is the winner again.
How?
Because he's a fucking nut job. I don't know.
How did he come
was
back
a
to
sleeper.
you?
He was a fucking sleeper. He was just
You gave
waiting.
up. You gave up.
I did give up.
Yeah,
I
man,
stopped.
So now you have to listen to that shit again for
Yeah.
another year.
Yep.
the new wrestling, man, just doesn't do it for me. So last night I'm sitting in there and like I don't know what happened on Facebook. You know how like you click on the video and then all of a sudden some other shit pops up and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this, man. It was like the worst moment like of our lives, like where we were stabbed in the back, and it was like the Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels at the barber shop.
Kick him through the
video.
window.
It was like 8 minutes
Super
long, and I'm
kick.
watching this, and Shawn Michaels is like, Marty Jannetty's like, I'm going to turn my back. And when I turn around, if you're there to shake my hand, the Rockers will continue. You need the Rockers, man. You're probably a little bit young.
before
I
you-
know, I know DX. I know Shawn Michaels, like
So,
Heartbreak
like-
Kid and all that. I
So
used to
like,
listen.
they're gonna do it. They're gonna like get back together, and they're gonna go on and
Nope.
win the Intercontinental or Tag Team Championship. And next thing you know, they shake hands, and then Shawn Michaels throws him through the barbershop
the barbershop
window.
window.
No, it's like, what's going on here, man? So like, that was like the real deal, man.
Yeah.
And now, next thing I know, I'm watching like 30 minutes of old school wrestling videos. Like when you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
like,
go in
it's
a
like-
rabbit hole.
Like they had like when the Undertaker first came out, like, oh my god, who is this guy? It's
Yeah.
supernatural. Like this is insane. Like, and I don't know.
I sent you that picture of every year of the Undertaker since he came out.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Gorilla
Great,
Monsoon,
dude.
Bobby
Dirty
Heenan, man. It was like the greatest stuff. He's like, Shawn Michaels throws Jannetty through the window, and what's his name is like, did you see that? What a coward. He jumped through the window to avoid Shawn Michaels. Like, it was great.
Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan.
So good,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Yeah, he was one of the best, man.
Yep.
But
Is he
actually,
dead?
yeah, he died. He was not doing well.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, at the end of his life, he wasn't.
Speaking of death, and you see these pictures up here, I never knew
clarifying
Casey
that.
was into Evil Knievel, man.
Yeah, well, obviously you're not a listener to the podcast.
I listened to a few
Ever
back in the
talks
day.
about.
Like I said, I'm always so busy, man. I don't have any time.
Yeah, I
to
It's
know.
do
only
stuff.
it's only started
But
in the last
I said
2
to
years.
Casey a few months ago, I'm like, hey man, you need to get on there and get Super Dave Osborne on your show. He's like, who the hell's Super Dave Osborne? Anybody?
Dave's still around?
No, he's
Super
dead
Super
now.
Dave is dead, man.
Yeah,
and then
thought so.
Fuji Akihito is like sidekick. Like it was just cheesy HBO show. It was like this world renowned stuntman.
Well,
But
he was
nothing,
like,
nothing would ever go
They
right.
put him on for like the Super Bowl and shit. Like he do all kinds of wild.
I remember that Super Dave's first show. He was on some. They made it seem like he was going to go with some rocket and like loop around and do crazy shit. And then the next thing you know, he gets in a roller coaster and he goes through the loop. And like that was amazing. Like it was just like it was good stuff.
So speaking of wrestling, though, back to wrestling. This AEW that started is really good shit. It got me back into. I started watching wrestling again now all the time. It's really good.
Shocking.
So who's your favorite all time wrestler?
All-time wrestler, I would have to go with probably the
Marshall
Iron Sheik.
Iron Sheik, man.
The Iron
Remember
Sheik was one of the.
Sorry, Mike.
He was one of the like he was an actual wrestler.
Right.
He was a bodyguard for the Shah of Israel, I think. Like when he was is that who's the Shah?
Well, Israel's a Jewish state, so I don't know that
Who
he
would be
have
the
been
Shah?
The Well, like Saudi Arabia?
Maybe, yeah, probably Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Or any
But
of
he
the
was
other-
like the bodyguard to like their leader. Like when he was like in his 20s, he was like he actually knew how to fucking kill people and shit. you
Yeah.
know?
What was the story with him? Didn't he get like busted on the highway with like drugs with one of his like
Yeah, that's
nemesis for like WWF?
Well, that's when like they call like the secrecy in wrestling. They call
they try to cover it all up.
It's called kayfabe.
Yeah.
They broke kayfabe because they were mortal enemies on the television show every week. But they got arrested together in a car with like an 8-ball cocaine.
Oh, I hate to see it.
and that's like
Who hasn't sat down with their enemy at an 8-ball, honestly?
Just taking it down.
that's when I think Vince had to come out and say like this is sports entertainment. It's not
Right,
You know, that
right.
They had to change like everything because of the Iron Sheik.
Doing below.
Another great story about the Iron Sheik before we wrap up here. There's a documentary or something, and there's a story about when Vince started doing drug testing, he called the Iron Sheik into his office and he said, "Sheik, you know you tested positive for cocaine, marijuana, you know all these different drugs, you know." Like, oh, very good, Bubba, very good, positive, very good. No, it's not positive. You failed.
Oh man.
Keep up the good work. Well, you have to get going. Get
I
back
do.
to your home, huh?
Yes.
On your
Take
jet
down
plane.
some finals. Yeah.
Plugs quick, Mike. Where can people follow you, find you?
I'm on Facebook, SanCo Sound and Light. Check it out. Working on a website. Kind of got lazy with that, and not lazy, but just so busy, having no time to really follow up on it. But yeah, just on there. Post a lot of my gigs up on it, and you know, you need any sound. Check out the Barren Wells if you want a band. You know, doing a lot of stuff right now, and you know, networking and production, any aspect like that.
Very cool.
Very good. And I'll post all the links to our page when I post the video. Go to patreon.com/chickenduck. Sign up. chickenduckpod.com. We're all over the place. Just Google Saturdays with Chicken Duck. We're the only one.
They're already here. They're already watching. Why would they Google us?
If it's their first time watching, maybe we'll get some new viewers because of Mike, and then they'll wonder, how do I
They'll
find
watch
this
the
show?
whole show and then wait to find out how to watch more of us. Have a good week, everybody. It's been emotional.
Goodbye.